Oh, no.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the Committee on Facilities Planning and Management. I think we just have the minutes and 5 policy items, 3 of which were added in the last week. So let's turn to the minutes. Everybody have the minutes? Anybody have any questions? If not, can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the minutes are passed. So on to the policy calendar. Would Vice Chancellor Iris Boyensfeld like to walk us through the 5 items?
Sure, Mr. Chairman. And we have a couple of items, and then we have 3 items that have been added on to be voted on by the committee. So why don't I go through the first policy calendar item, which is an item for New York City College of Technology for their new academic building. This resolution would authorize the execution of a CM build contract on behalf of NYCCT for pre-construction, construction, and construction management services as required for the construction of a new academic building on the site of the Clipboard Center/TV studio. This new academic building is to be constructed on the site currently occupied by the Clipboard Center. This new building will include laboratories, clinics, offices, a 1,000-seat auditorium, and a brand-new gymnasium. In accordance with the college's 2000 master plan, the new building will house existing programs currently situated in antiquated space elsewhere on its campus and provide for the college's expanding needs. The project will involve demolition of 2 existing buildings on the site and the construction of a new building. And I believe that this committee, I think it was about 9 months ago, got a presentation by the architect, Perkins Eastman, as to what the building would look like and what, I guess, what functions would be in the building. And we are very, very pleased with the work that Perkins Eastman has done on this project. The second item is an item for Queens College, and it has to do with the electrical distribution S-system upgrade. And I just want to point out before I go through this item that this is one of the projects that we're using critical maintenance money for. So we're truly in earnest putting to use the $284 million that we have gotten in critical maintenance money. And this resolution will authorize a consultant contract on behalf of the college for design and construction-related services as necessary for upgrades to the electrical distribution system. This project will address the college's campus-wide chronic power outages by installing a new substation and a new duct bank system, upsizing the transformers, and replacing the switchboards in the affected buildings. The next 3 items, Mr. Chairman, and they're items 3, 4, and 5, seek board authorization to request that the City University Construction Fund enter into certain requirement contracts for design, construction management, and construction management build services. These contracts, as a group, are to be used on an as-needed basis for CUNY construction projects. The requirement contract model allows for the issuance of a task order to 1 or more contract holders as projects are identified without the need for additional project-specific procurement. And I'd like to point out to the committee that when I came here to CUNY almost 3 years ago, many of our projects took a long time to get done. I'm talking about smaller and larger projects for the campuses because they had to go out and procure the services. By having these contracts on an as-needed basis, the campuses will be able to really basically just go to a list of contractors and avail themselves of those services. These contracts are intended for use, as I said, on small to medium-sized projects. This model is expected to reduce the design through construction completion time by eliminating the necessity of individual procurement and improving our ability to administer the projects at hand. So item number 3 is an engineering design services requirement contract, and this resolution will authorize the execution of up to 40 requirement contracts to be used as needed for engineering design services for CUNY construction projects valued up to $15 million each. Item number 4 is construction management build services requirement contracts, and this resolution authorizes the execution of up to 8 requirement contracts to be used as needed for construction management build services for medium size, that's $3 million to $25 million, CUNY construction projects. The last item is college laboratory facilities construction management design build services requirements contracts. This resolution would authorize the execution of 4 requirement contracts to be used as needed for services necessary for design, build, and management of about 25 CUNY laboratory renovation projects. And as the committee knows, a couple of years ago, we renovated our first group of laboratories. We're now on the second phase. We've identified 10 laboratories, both research and teaching labs, across a wide range of campuses. And we have pretty much finished the design and will be entering into the construction phase of these 10 labs. And those are the items, Mr. Chairman.
All right, does anybody have any questions?
I'd like to speak strongly in favor of all of these items, but in particular, number one, the new building for New York City College of Technology. That college really desperately needs this new facility. It's well deserved. And that campus, and most strongly in particular to number 5, the laboratories across the university need this kind of rehabilitation on all kinds of campuses, and more the better. So we really appreciate Vice Chancellor Weinschall's efforts in this area, and we appreciate the conversations we've had before this meeting.
Great. Yeah, the more we can spend this money before it gets cut, the better off we are.
Exactly our thinking. And the more we can enter into contracts before March, the better we are also.
Vice Chancellor, these will operate similar to federal and state indefinite quantity contracts in which they're pre-qualified and the contracts are already set up, so it's a competitive piece, but it's only a matter of pricing.
Yes.
That
We do a mini bid after.
operates very smoothly.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Okay,
All right, so we're voting on the 5 resolutions?
yes.
All right, so can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the items are approved. All right, any other business? A motion to,
Ours has some additional things I'd like to.
oh, you're on.
I think, as everybody knows, we have had some, I guess, state of good repair issues at our community colleges. Whereas we got state of good repair money for the 4-year schools, it has been a challenge for us working with the city in terms of getting state of good repair money for our community colleges. We have had a dialogue with City OMB in terms of identifying a number of campuses that really have truly critical maintenance issues. At LaGuardia, we have an issue with the windows at Center 3. A number of the windows have fallen out, and we've had to put a bridge around the building to protect those who walk around it. At Queensborough Community College, we've had severe electrical problems, so much so that they have, the last 2 summers, had electrical outages. And at Bronx Community College, with the new building coming online, we have also had severe HVAC problems, so much so that last summer the library had to be closed because we didn't have the air conditioning ability to run on the campus. So we've had numerous meetings with OMB, and in the January capital plan, which is going to be released in a few days, OMB has acknowledged that these projects need to get done, and they have allocated $27 million for these 3 projects. And going forward, we're going to work similarly as we worked with the state to develop a 5-year plan for critical maintenance projects for the community colleges. On the state side, there has now been an acknowledgement that since the city is willing to pony up money for the community colleges, the state will do the same. In the last budget, we were not able to get money for the community colleges for critical maintenance because the city had not acknowledged the need. So when the governor comes out with his budget in a few days, they too will acknowledge now the contribution by the city, and they will match those funds. So these projects will now be able to go forward. And we're hopeful that by developing this 5-year plan with the city, that we will then be on an even course with the state as well. As the city puts up the money, the state will, and we'll be able to do more projects of a critical maintenance nature on the community college campuses.
Quite an accomplishment.
Thank you.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, everyone.